Alright, it's showtime. Welcome in, everyone. I should really work on an intro for these things. It's been so long since I've, done streaming semi-regularly to be able to, have a whole spiel going. Years ago, when I was streaming much more frequently, I did, a whole thing, friendly neighborhood, biromantic, gray A's, gamer wizard, but we're not really gaming here, exactly. We're just making maps. We're having fun. But I probably should come up with some sort of, intro. Hi, hello, and welcome. Greetings, mages. My name is Cynlan. I am a biromantic, gray A's, gamer wizard. But today we will not be gaming. Today we will be working on this. This is the newest battle map that I'm working on. For those who might be new here, might not know the deal, I create maps. Sort of a new project that I've started doing. I like making maps for my campaigns, and decided that I wanted to see if I could, make maps for other folks to use. So I set up a coffee shop where you can find many of my maps. I think there's about 15 different map packs up at this point. Some of which connect, some of which are variations on the same map. You can find any and all of them at the coffee shop link in the description down below. The doobly-doo, for those who know. And yeah, my streams here are kind of co-working streams. They're very chill, they're very relaxed, hence the very calming, copyright-free fantasy music vibes that we've got going on here. And, the stream is mostly just me chatting and soliciting, opinions and such for things to put on my maps. Mapmaking tends to be a very solitary pursuit. It's usually just, yourself and whatever mapmaking program that you're using. This is Dungeon Draft, for those not in the know. The link to Dungeon Draft also in the doobly-doo down below. It's a great program. I've been using it for a couple of years now. Before that, I was just using image editing software to pull together disparate assets and hope to edit them into something cohesive. But this at least has a fairly unified style right out the gate. Very easy to pick and choose what elements to use, and offers a good bit of customization, at least for what I like to do with my battle maps. And yeah. And this current map that I'm working on is, as I may have mentioned, for my newest battle map pack to go up on my shop, tentatively titled Urban Maze. I've done a few map packs at this point of fields and roads out in the country, a fair amount of bridges, a fair amount of underground tunnels, caves, that sort of thing. But I touched a little bit on sort of your town, village sort of battle maps, but I hadn't done too much with it. It was my Crossroads, which originated in my my crater impact area maps, and sort of spun out from there into its own thing, day-night variants, indoor maps for the Crossroads section. And I decided I kind of wanted to use that as inspiration for a new map pack. So when this is all put together, this will be one of 3 maps. I have 2 made already. They were pretty straightforward. One is just like a straight road, a good old straightaway with buildings on either side. One of them is a T intersection, both of which can connect to my Urban Crossroads map pack, but can also stand on their own. I mostly made this set of 3 to stand on their own. You can connect the Crossroads to it if you want to, but it's more designed to stand on its own, but have a similar, comparable style. So straightaway, T intersection, and what we'll be working on tonight is the map that connects sort of in the corners of those 2 maps, offering a sort of behind the buildings sort of encounter space, off the beaten path, away from the open road section of a town or village. Someplace where you could have a good old-fashioned encounter, the sort of both open, it being outdoors and such, but also enclosed, as there's a number of buildings around them, limiting line of sight from said roads. And my inspiration that I think I'm going with for this particular map, it harkens back to my my birthplace, my hometown, New Orleans, which has beautiful architecture, lots of city roads and such, fairly close together. But what it's also known for, at least to those that know where to look, are the hidden courtyards in between various buildings. Some of them more easily accessible than others, but usually there's... in fact, I can kind of show you if I move OBS off to the side here, just to kind of do a little peek behind the curtain here. Let's see if I can... Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is the inspiration that I'm working off of here. Good old-fashioned New Orleans / French Quarter hidden courtyards. Very lush, very green. Mostly stone pathways. Balconies overlooking them, that sort of thing. Maybe there's some stairs like you see in this one. Where's that one? There's a good one. Oh, yep, right here with the fountain. And this one too. So we're looking at lush and green, fountains, stone pathways, lots of greenery. And I think we'll be able to achieve that with this map. There's certainly enough space here to work with. Might get a little creative with some of the... maybe reworking some of this pathing to bring the stone walkways into like more of a into and in between the lush green and the stonework, and maybe a fountain in the middle, maybe off to the sides. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. That's what we're doing tonight. We'll make some decisions. If you're in chat and wish to voice your opinions, I do often pull inspiration from chat, so if you're watching this live, feel free to chime in with various suggestions. If you think that there might be something that would be fitting in here, you know, some sort of like stonework or benches or, you know, whatever you have off the top of your mind. We'll take a look at our assets and see if we can make it happen. So I think to start with, as we're getting things going here, am I happy with the pathing in here? I think for the moment I am. That might change as I start adding things into the open space in the middle here. But I think before we tackle the central courtyard portion itself, let's do a little bit of balcony work. And I think for this, we'll... What am I thinking? I'm thinking like fencing, I think, around the walls here to make it look a little more like a balcony, and maybe divide where there's like clear, you know, sections of building grouped together, maybe create sort of like fencing in between them. Welcome in, Lear. Yes, you are absolutely right. This is our hidden courtyard map that we're working on tonight. With inspiration pulled from the hidden courtyards of my old stomping grounds from my youth, New Orleans. So we're looking at, you know, balconies overlooking the courtyard. We're looking at fountains, stone pathways, lots of lush green. So it's going to be like a lot of plant life, a lot of trees, bushes, some flowers, maybe a fountain in the middle, maybe kind of offset to the side, not quite sure yet. Still kind of figuring out the logistics, really. But yeah, we're going for big easy courtyard vibes for this map. And as I was saying, I think I want some, because this just looks like solid wall right here, but if we go into our pathing tools, we could do, yeah, there's some nice fencing in here. What we could do is something like, that's not gonna work. We need to elevate above walls so that it's visible. There we go. That looks a little more fence-like. Oh, I've already seen the problem. Okay, so the paths work a little strangely. We need to create more anchor points in between them. So one here, and one here. Otherwise it's going to cut right in between this space, and we don't want that. We want it to look kind of cohesive, based around. I might put some pillars in there to act as further anchors. But for right now, let's lay down our fencing. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. It's a good start, I think. And while I'm doing the fencing, how are you doing, Lear? What's new? What's going on? Always a delight to have you here, especially since Loki is currently out at the moment. So it is just me and the courtyard right now. And you in chat. Okay, so there's some good fencing. Let's also, while I'm still on this, separate out these houses so that they have their own individual balconies. Same plane, just, you know, little separated out. You can see your neighbor's part of their balcony, but you can't access it without jumping the fence. Which is pretty much how that goes in New Orleans. Sometimes the fencing is missing, sometimes there's just one giant balcony that connects multiple residences. But, you know, for this, I think the more elements that stand out, the better. Otherwise, this is all just going to look like one big open space, and we kind of want to put some things in to present some obstacles to players who are on the map trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B. Little complications in moving around. We like complications. Doing well, had a CT scan that was probably useless. Well, you know, that's how it goes sometimes, I think. Hopefully not useless, but, you know, better to, like, cover the bases. Long as insurance is covering it, right? Okay, so we've got our fences set up. We're gonna get some pillars in here to act as balcony posts. And we're gonna zip on down. Here we go. And we're gonna go with the brown so that it's all this like wood color. Why is there a globe? I don't know. Pillars, right. So we'll do kind of also, again, going above the walls. Yeah. That way there's like solid support structure for this balcony. Hang on, why is there no shadow? There we go. Get some good shading in there. A little sip of water. Put some posts in here. And then on these corners. And on those corners. Okay, so we've got some good space in here. Should I put pillars here up against the building? I don't think so. I think the balcony protruding from the housing itself, there would not be pillars on the corners of the housing. Yeah, we'll leave those edges pillarless. Checking for infection that was raising my white blood cell count. Pretty sure it was a cyst. It's been stable for decades. Ooh. Yikes. Well, hopefully it's getting addressed soon. Very soon. And that everything comes out alright. Any sort of, like, health issues like that. No fun. No good. Okay, so we've got mostly drained now. That's good. Loki is also going in to the hospital next week, but I don't think that's my story to tell on a stream. We will just leave it at that for now, and we'll look at, I think I want to put some of these guys in. Now these stone pillars I've been using for street lighting. Usually on the corners, but sometimes in these streets themselves, just kind of offer a little illumination. I might want to do something similar here in the corners as a sort of like lighting for the courtyard. What I could do is differentiate it a little bit so that we have something a little fancier for the courtyard. Not quite so plain and simple. There's this one. Let's see what that looks like. We don't have to keep it. I'm just gonna see what it looks like. So if we have these pillars in the corner, and then like, where's my fire? That's what we could do. There's my fires. They don't need to be huge. These are kind of like small. Take the snap off so we can kind of position them a little better. It's not offering like huge light, but there's like a little something, right? So just a little something for the corners. Offer a little bit of illumination here. Oh, that's a big light. Oh, that's way big. Okay, that's better. Yeah, that kind of like lamp lights, but without the lamps. This is a courtyard behind buildings? Yes, it is. So the plan for this map pack is that, like all of my map packs, they come in 3 map sets. This one is going to have a straight piece of road with buildings on either side, top and bottom. And there's a T intersection one, and each of those maps has a little walkway. You can kind of see it if I arrange the map like this. So the T intersection will connect to these side walkways here around these buildings, or between these buildings. The straight road connecting in with these walkways, whether you want to position it top or bottom, they'll lead into the courtyard here. So you can essentially have an encounter that starts on a road and then moves into sort of off the road, away from public view, you know, hidden away from plain view, and have a little encounter between and in the midst of all these buildings, sort of a courtyard, backyard-ish sort of situation. And so the idea here is, much like the New Orleans courtyards, there'll be like, you know, some benches, a fountain to sort of, you know, provide some ambient sound to cover any sort of conversations one might have away from the public areas.Maybe a good, you know, back alley type fight, you know, coming down this alley here and trying to, you know, escape in and amongst these other buildings here. Good sort of encounter domain for if you want to have a fight outside, but not necessarily like on the street. You could use this map. And then what I'm looking at now is, okay, we've got our balconies, we've got these to offer some illumination. We are going to eventually get into our lighting effects, but I want to put down our objects first before I tackle that sort of stuff. So, we have lighting. Let's get our fountain in play here. Where is my fountain assets? There they are. Okay, so what sort of fountain do I want to put in here? We could do this sort of fountain. Sort of a stone critter in there. Actually, you know, do I have a bigger... I didn't put that asset pack in here. Maybe I do that real quick, because I do have an asset pack with stonework that would have like some nice additional options for statuary and such, and one of them is statues with water flowing down into a fountain. Maybe I add those real quick. We're gonna do a little because I know that I'm going to need to close the map for this. We're just gonna move over to this screen real quick. And I'm gonna change up my assets here to add in the statues. And I don't expect I'm gonna use a lot of these assets, but I'm gonna also add the hedge maze stuff because of the flowers there, which might be handy. And I think that'll do it. We're just gonna load those assets in real quick. Not immediately, but your balconies need some seating where someone's plants, maybe some laundry. Absolutely, that's a very good idea. Okay, now let's flip back to our map. Oop, there we go. Okay, so now with those assets loaded in, I can do bigger fountains, because I wasn't entirely happy with the size of those fountains, you know? But with these assets, I can do... Where's my... I need sort of an overgrown... Okay, that's elegant. That's close. I want kind of an overgrown fountain. It's still elegant. That's... What is this? Colorful. Okay, we're getting closer. And a shout out to 2 Minute Tabletop, where I get the majority of my additional Dungeon Draft assets. They do some really good stuff there. As you can see, the plentiful options for... here we go. There's our weathered. Don't need anything huge, but I think this medium fountain is what we're looking for. I like their hand-drawn assets most of the time. Some of them definitely have like a very distinctive art style that I think meshes well with the standard Dungeon Draft offerings fairly well, and others look a little too like sketch-like for what I'm going for. But this is nice. This has that sort of like overgrown... This fountain has been here a long time and maybe hasn't been given the best attention. But I think if we put this in the middle... Yeah. some nice shadow work. And then let's also... Where's my good overgrown fountain looking, water spewing statuary? It's around here somewhere. Maybe. Now we're getting into just foliage. Did I miss it? Was I blowing through these too quickly? That's a snake. We're looking for... There's a specific style. That's cute, but not what I'm looking for. Looking for... Oh, there she is! Yeah, that'll do. She's overgrown. She looks like, she's been there a good long time. Situate her in the middle of that fountain there. And now it looks like she's pouring water into the fountain. And actually, what I think will really sell the effect, we'll go to all, then we'll go to, where's my water effects? So I do have, there they are. So we'll take snap off so that we can get a little better positioning here. Get a little ripple effect in that water so it looks like there's impact. Yeah. Now we'll just make sure that this element is on top. Bring to the front just to make sure that the overlap is good. And we save. Yeah, that's a good start. Okay, so we've got our fountain. Now we can put our elements around it. We're looking at... benches might be good. Maybe some gravel as sort of pathing in and around the fountain. Yeah, let's see what that would look like. We'll go to our terrain where we've got our gravel, and let's just do like a little simple line. To our fountain. It's not perfect, but I find that that's actually much better in most respects. That feels more real, you know? Like sometimes pathing is just a little messy. Has that like lived in kind of feel, you know? And just kind of widen that path out a little bit there, maybe a little bit along the sides here around the fountain, so that players can feel like they can circle around it, like this was designed for folks to kind of move in and around that fountain. Yeah. Okay. That's good for now, I think. We might revisit that to kind of bring in that path a little bit. Make it more or less like a 5-foot gap and not quite encroaching on 10 foot. But that's good for now. That's a good start. Okay, so let's take a break from the middle and let's decorate one of these balconies. So this top one here, I think, is going to be our plant lover's balcony. So let's look at our potted plant offerings here. I think I know just the one that I want, which is this asset pack, which has, yeah, these guys. Oh, no, I didn't add those asset packs in here. That's fine. I don't want to overwhelm with too many options. Small dirt desire trail cutting one corner where kids cut that corner. Absolutely. In fact, I think... yeah, I could do that. Let's go back into terrain here with the little dirt here. And I had established that there was some like stuffed dolls left on benches on the other two maps, so this will work out really well. And I think for the purposes of where those maps will connect, we'll do a little dirt path here. There we go. Around that corner, but then also around this corner. Yeah. I think that aligns well with where the T intersection will go. Yeah. And then we'll kind of push in the green a little bit here. There we go. Yeah, kind of like that. It's two corners, not one corner, but I feel like depending on where folks want to position their straightaway, top or bottom, that'll still work out. Do a quick save. Alright, so plant lover's balcony. We've got a bunch of different options here. We're going to display them all at once and then we can move them about. We are going to put some snap on these at first. So there's one. Oh, that's tiny. Do we have one that's a little bigger? That's a little bigger. That's good. Then we've got flowers. Oh god, those are so tiny too. Interesting. Very interesting. But I think what I want to do... We're gonna go with more lush, I think. So we're gonna get rid of... We might intersperse some of those later. Get some roses in there. Give it a little color, but I think I want to establish a base green first, and then see where the splashes of color should go. So, kind of... Wait. Oh, actually what I should do, I can do the scatter tool, and that will intentionally move these so that it's a different position every time drop one. maybe I don't want to put that. We should at least, we'll line the fence to the side with them, do like a little, you know, privacy greenery, so to speak. And then we'll move this one here. Move that more to the middle. And then come back in with the scatter tool. Put one down here. Yeah, so that offers a little bit of privacy on the sides. Will still allow visitors to approach the edge of the balcony here to look down into the courtyard itself. I think that's the way to go for that. And in fact, that might be where our small green comes in. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, like kind of in the middle there, give like a little separation either side. Yeah. Now these I don't want to use the scatter tool on because I don't know if you can see necessarily from here, but if we zoom in to... Whoop, wrong way. If we zoom in, not out, in, you can kind of see down on that bottom edge there's like a little bit of plant life, so it's kind of like a little at an angle, not completely straight down on it. But it's enough that you can kind of see that pottery, and we don't want that at weird angles. We do kind of want like a little bit of uniformity, but I can flip this so there's a little bit of variation between them all being posted in the same direction. Yeah. I also realized we're missing a door out onto the patio, or onto the balconies. Let's fix that real quick. Let's get some... We don't need it to be fancy, it's just a door out onto a balcony, but still, we need a little something to kind of... Put that one there, we'll put that one there, and there. We'll do the same thing down here. Put it toward the middle. For these, I think we can kind of offset it a little bit so that that one's off to the side there, that one's off to the side there, and maybe kind of a similar thing on its matching number over here, where there's like door there, fantastic. Something that may be fun is 2 chair and table sets on either side of the dividing railing, where 2 neighbors chat over morning coffee. That is genius. See, I knew that streaming my map making would be the perfect way to get some fresh ideas into the maps. I might not have thought about that. That's pretty genius. Let me finish up the plant lovers balconies real quick, and then we'll do the 2 chair and table sets. I like visual storytelling. I love visual storytelling. It is one of my favorite parts of making these maps. I usually do mine with animals, like positioning certain animals in certain places to draw the eye. But a good like visual storytelling with map elements to suggest occupants of a space or activities in a space. Very cool. I love it. I actually have an interesting idea for something down in the courtyard if I have space for it. But we're not there yet. What we are gonna do is we're gonna go back into tags here. Where'd those plants go? Excuse me. We'll do... not to snap. We're gonna do it a little... under some of these plants here to kind of like give a little splash of color. Actually, we're gonna do a scatter tool on these. So I think we can do that. Uh-oh. Where'd all my stuff go? Scroll back down to our potted plants. There we go. And it doesn't look like this has any obvious pottery, so we can do a scatter tool on this to just kind of like invite a little bit of color in between the fronds. Just a little bit of color between fronds. And offset a little bit so that like there's that little bit of color, but also it's like a little bit off, so it's not quite as perfect. I like those little touches. Because no one's going to be lining up their potted plants exactly like their neighbors. That's never going to happen. Well, I shouldn't say that's never going to happen. There are certain obsessive compulsiveness that I could see would play into that. But outside of, you know, the sort of folks who can't have something asymmetrical. That gives us a little bit of color in between there, which I kind of like. And we can group some 4B or 4. We'll go with 4. Cluster some red ones around that middle space, just to kind of add that little extra touch of color and variety. Yeah. No HOA here? Absolutely not. Not in my towns and villages. Okay, cool. So that's a neat little space there, and we're gonna add one more touch on the fences in between. We're gonna go to our plant elements in baseline dungeon draft, and we're gonna find our vines. And we're just gonna string some vines, maybe something a little longer, maybe something that's not scattered because I want this to be very deliberate, but we can do some vines in between. Whoop, too far. There we go. Some vines to kind of add a little more green in that space between, like, you know, vines climbing on fences, that sort of deal. Just that little extra touch of green to liven things up. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright. A little bit of green, a little bit of color, still spaces to, you know, look out across the balcony. Fabu. Okay, so we've got our plant balcony. What do we have here? Oh! Let's actually put some seating there as well. Where's my chairs? Not fancy seating, because it's outdoors, but just like little simple sitting on the balcony amongst the plants. Maybe this one is like, seating by the door. Two people can sit on the balcony. And then do another one that's like here-ish. Yeah. And then we'll save. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, so for our table sets for our two neighbors, I think this balcony will be perfect for that. There's two houses side by side sharing a balcony, one divider, no neighbors on either side. Perfect place for that kind of thing, I think. So what we can do here, we're gonna set up our tables first. And what we can do, what about this one? That's very big. What about this one? That's more manageable. Not quite as unwieldy. There's an end table. That might be too small. But I would love if there was something like this, but without the chairs being part of it. Sad, because that's like the perfect size. Alas, we will have to make do with what we've got. Actually, wait, let me look at some of my assets here to see. Furniture map. Oh! Well, look at that. Sort of dark wood. Nope, that's a little too big. That is just right. So we'll put this up against this side. We'll flip this, put it up against this side. So there's a space for... Ooh, and you know what? Is there a decent chair? Simple chair here? No? Oh. Well, there's some simple chairs. Yeah. Just something nice and simple. Kind of goes with the color scheme here. Flip that around to that side. Maybe tuck it under a little bit. Maybe that neighbor likes to push their chair in. Okay, so we've got that. I have the beginnings of an idea. What if, in addition to coffee, they were like playing a game essentially over the fence? And for that, I have two options to consider. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's our game sets. What we can do is either have chessboard. Over, please. Thank you. Chessboard that they can essentially like see each other's pieces from their respective ends of the fence, playing chess through the fence. Or we can have them playing cards through the fence. Which would also be kind of cool. I don't know. Both ideas are pretty cool. In fact, not even a fan. We could do something like this. And then I can take the shadow off of it because cards aren't going to be making that much of a shadow when they're laid down on a table. However, a deck of cards will, and that's where I'll use the shadow. Let's try it with the cards first. So I think we'll do cards there, cards there. And then deck of cards with our shadow on. And that can go here as the deck that they're playing off of. Have to head out and have work early. No worries. Thank you for coming and joining for as long as you have. Always a delight to have you here. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Sleep well. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Or at least try to. And we'll see you later. In the meantime, okay. You know what? Why am I doing an either-or situation when I can do both on different balconies? I can absolutely do that. I have the power. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up, I think maybe another table over here. Or another set of tables, I should say. We'll do something a little different for this one. How big is this game board? It's not that big. I could use a small table for that. And in fact, I think I'm gonna. We've got this small table. We can do one side of it here, one side of it here, just like a little off center, just so it's not quite so perfect. And then we'll put chairs, our little simple chairs. Put one here, put another one here. Something like that. Yeah. Back to our games. We'll have this set up zoom since there's a little finer detail in here. Alright, chessboard. One for that side. Actually, wait. We do want it that way. Ooh, the shadow on that is really thick. Hang on. How does that look without shadow? It looks a little cleaner and a little more discernible, so we'll keep it like that. There we go. Very cool. Do a quick save. There. No either or. Both options get used. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Alright, so back to this balcony. We have a wide enough space here that we could put some... What do we want to put up here? Maybe some more tables? For the sake of staying consistent, we'll go back to our dark wood. Yeah, maybe there's a... Oh, that's good. Nice round table over here that I can set some chairs around. Yeah. I think before I move off of it, we're also going to do... covered table? Do like a covered table over here. Yeah. Covered table. Fantastic. Oh, and where did my shadows go? That's no good. Shadow time! Turn our shadows back on. That's right, I had turned them off for the chessboard. I can turn the shadows back on for my chairs. And we do want some more simple chairs. Fill out the space a wee bit. Yeah, so that one can get tucked under. That one a little... actually, let's tilt it this way. Maybe somebody was looking off the balcony. And then because of the little piece there, we're gonna go over real quick. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we've got that one. Now we go under again for this set. And then again, chair pushed in just a little bit. Awesome. God, that looks good. Nice clean balcony. Got some furniture. Not too much going on. Not every balcony is going to be like chock full of stuff. It's just as true in real life. I feel like fantasy should reflect that as well. Okay, so we've got some furnishings up here. Maybe something on the tables, though, would not be too out of line. We can add, like, a little bit of... That's what we need. we need some... Okay, first we need some green, I think. We've got a little potted plant in here, I remember from when we were looking at these, that we can use over. We could put on top there. Give that just a little... Do I want to put it there? No, I want to put it over here. We'll put it on the round table, a little toward the front. Fantastic. Okay. We've got our little bit of green. Now, to continue to add a little life to these balconies, let's get some glassware. There's gotta be some... Maybe not there. Maybe... Where's my glassware? Furniture map assets? Let's take a look. Well, there's some glassware. We have some empty tankards and full tankards. Let's do empty and put those there. Okay. So we've got some empty glasses that were left from whatever revelry was happening out here before. We have maybe some lanterns. Nobody's out there right now. They don't have to be lit. Maybe we put that lamp over here. Maybe put a lamp over here. And let's... There's a particular asset I'm looking for. I don't know if I have it in this pack, which is going to make me sad. Hello, welcome in. Don't mind me. I'm just muttering into the microphone while I try to figure out what assets I remember to put in this map that I can work with. We don't want treasure assets. Maybe... It's so weird to be in a 1900s map asset pack for fantasy, but there's actually some really cool elements in this pack that transcend genre. And one of them is this coffee cup, which we're gonna put on our little meeting table over here for our friends that we're having a game together. And maybe this cup goes there. Yeah. Yeah. as was discussed earlier with Lear, visual storytelling, very awesome on my maps. I usually do them with animals and stuff, but I also do them with items. It can be fun to create some brief little storytelling elements with, you know, a game in progress or empty cups or what have you. Just to add a little life to a map, make it feel a little lived in. Yeah. So we've got this balcony of neighbors who share this balcony together. They have their little individual spaces when they're entertaining, you know, house guests and such, but when they're not doing that, they share a little table between with the fence in between here, between the balconies. Separate spaces, yet shared nonetheless, as they have their little card game going here. Had a really weird moment where the video is minutes behind what I was saying. You know, that's just streaming life. I'm kind of used to it. But yeah, so let me zoom out to 100%. Excuse me. So here's what we've got so far. We've got the beginnings of our courtyard area. Got our fountain in the middle, our little overgrown fountain, a little weathered around the edges, pouring water into the base fountain area itself. At Lear's excellent suggestion, created, you know, the little pathing here of, you know, folks who they're not going to come all the way around the lamp pillar here. They might cut across. Eventually that grass is going to get worn away. Very nice little recommendation. Excellent touch. I think it was because I opened the stream, but it didn't play, and so I started playing the stream from when I opened it. Oh yeah, it does that. I've noticed that with certain streams, that like sometimes you need to do like a quick little refresh just to make sure it's current. Especially when it just gives you like the big screen with the big play button in the middle. Sometimes that can get a little offset. An interesting discovery of streaming on YouTube. You can pause premieres and live streams and then come back to them and pick up from where you paused, but the live stream is still going and you'll just get the rest of it after it has already ended. Very interesting, I think. But yeah, so let's see, we've got the neighbor balconies there. We've got our green balconies up there. Let's dive into the central courtyard a little more. Oh, let's do a quick save. Okay, so we've got those. We need some green. And I think for the first time in all of my maps, because it is appropriate to the vibes that I'm going for, this will be the first time that I use these. Oh, do I not have them in this pack either? You know, I probably should have planned this a little. Oh! No, we've got these guys. This will be perfect. Yes, ferns. Lots of ferns. Green ferns. We love the ferns. That will give us some of the lush green that I wanted to kind of fill the space a little more. And actually, we're gonna use... do I want to use the scatter tool on these? That might be a little weird if it's just hooking like this. I can adjust it manually. So yeah, let's do a little getting some green in here to fill out some of this space. Excellent. Okay, so we've got that. Now we can use the scatter tool for the single elements, of which, there we go. So we've got, just gonna line this a little better here so it's kind of on the, get that off, on, off the grid. Do the same thing down here, off, on, on, and then we'll also put some of those guys in there. Yeah. We got some green in here. Got some green. We've got some shadow. We've got all the green up here. It's coming together little by little. What else do we put in here? What indeed? I think I want to shape that central walkway a little more. Let's get our terrain brush with grass and kind of push that walkway in just a little. Just not quite overcoming all of our green. Do. Let's come at it from this direction. There we go. Oop. Didn't want to push it in quite that much. Just a little bit. Yeah. That way it feels a little more organic. Gives us a little more green to play with. Doesn't have to be a full-on walkway. Just a little space here. Yeah. Cool. We'll push this in a little more. Push that in. That keeps most of our walkway here. Kind of a little too much. There we go. Just to kind of reclaim a little bit of the green there. Cool. Okay, now statues, I think, are what I want to put in here. And because I went with this statue for the fountain, we're going to stick with that same style. Go to our statue map assets. There's a lovely collection of various and assorted statues. And maybe not the colored ones, maybe something with some overgrowth. So let's go down here, because this is where I think a lot of our overgrowth is going to be. So like, that might be a little bit too big, but something like that. What is that? Oh, neat. Weathered. Very good. So what we can actually do is maybe drop a rock kind of in the center of all this, and then put our soldier. Look at that. God, it's so good. I love it. Do a quick save. I could just do like catty corner here, so it's not overwhelmed with statuary, or I could put it in each of the corners. Let's take a look at what other statues we have here. Oh, that's a big one. Okay, that's a little more manageable, and it also comes with its own base, which I like. We can drop that here. Cool. Actually, on second thought, do I want them all pointed? Maybe I have them looking toward the fountain. Would that even work? Let's see. Spin it a little like that, so it's still on the second line. Interesting. Now by the same token, let's take our statue here. Also have it facing in that direction. Too much. So yeah, they're a little facing inward toward the fountain itself. I kind of like that. Not quite so uniform, a little messy. We like messy when it comes to maps. Okay, so we've got those two statues. What else can we do here? How about... I like that one. Ooh. It's a good hooded figure too. There's a little one. Don't know if we want a little... What is that? Little guy is literally titled Little guy. Just a little guy. I dig it. Oh, we could do another soldier. Oh, well, if we're doing another soldier, that is just a little guy. It is true to form. That's what it says in the asset pack. Right there. Let's get another weathered rock real quick. We'll use... Actually, we'll put the two soldiers kind of opposite ends here, and we'll move this one. Oop. Let's get another little snap going. And then we'll move you as so. And then rock. Oop. Rock. Rock. Rock with... Where'd our soldier go? Well, there's a little guy, so... Take it off snap so that they're kind of facing that same direction. Fabu. Alright, now we just need one more to complete the set. Do we have one that does not require a base? Yeah, actually. If we do... Let's get our snap back on. There. Look at that. Very cool. I like it. I like it. Picasso. Not Picasso. But no, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. This is some good progress on the central courtyard area. Let's go back to our balconies. Let's finish this set of balconies out. Let's see. We've already got that one chess game set up for these two neighbors. What do I want to do for the rest of this balcony? I think, because we have the green up here, we have the furnishings here. We'll do a mix of green and furnishings here, and then Lear suggested like, what was it? Maybe some laundry, like a laundry line? Could probably do that. Yeah, could probably do that. In fact, just to kind of see if I can do this, let's go for another path here. We've got some rope, which we can kind of string along. kind of like string across here to be a sort of like clothesline sort of thing. And maybe... Oop, hang on. I keep forgetting. Okay, we're gonna anchor, anchor, anchor. Alright, so we've got a clothesline there. I might have gone a little too anchor happy with this. Let's see if we can... Yeah, bring that out just a little bit so it's not quite so sharp. It still looks like it's anchored on the wall there. It looks like it could just be one long rope that these neighbors set up to do drying of laundry sort of stuff. And in fact, I think... Do I have a laundry basket? Only one way to find out. Let's see here. We have piles of laundry, at least. Oh, and look at that. I know it says towel rack, but those could be just sheets set up on a line. Let's see how that looks. Maybe we don't. But I could still do like that laying across. Okay. I think I figured out how to do this. Alright, so we're gonna bring our rope up to user layer 2 so we can put things underneath it. And we're gonna go to all. And I think I do have some clothes. Here we go. Some folded clothes. We can put this over. 6 snap off so we can get a little more. And we can also, God, these are really tiny clothes. Maybe they're baby clothes. We don't know. We can just kind of like line these up. I wish there was some that I could recolor. Well, we work with what we got. Alright, so then over here we've got right there. Let that hang. Cool. Maybe we space it out a little more so they're not quite so close together. And it doesn't need to be a full line of laundry, but just so we get the idea. Yeah, something like that. Kind of evenly spaced. Let's throw a table on both sides. A little table or two. Tables. Too far. Nope, that's too big. Oh, but that would be perfect. Put on snap. We can do a little corner table. Haha! Throw a little corner table here. And also... well, that's not quite gonna work. But what will is putting this one here. So it's kind of like, it's a little through the fence, but maybe it was built that way. Maybe it was built with the table on the balcony. A little place to put various things, what have you. And we can use that space to put some green. Put some more green. Let's take the snap off of this one. Actually, wait, let's swap that. Yeah, there we go. Just a little touch of color. Sweet. And then, having done that, we can put our piles of laundry up here. Yeah. Cool. Love it. And that makes that area feel a little more lived in, gives a little variety. And that is 3 of our 4 balconies completed. Maybe I throw a chair on there. Maybe I throw a chair on there. You can sit and do laundry. Let's put it under. Yeah. Cool. All right. Final balcony. That kind of centered for us here. Okay, so we've got our game set up here. What else can we throw on this balcony? Maybe we get some more furniture up there. I feel like one of these balconies, probably this one right here, is gonna be storage space for whoever lives in this building. Because there's always, at least in my experience, when I have lived in places where there are balconies, open balconies that you can see the stuff on, like, you can always find, you know, the ones that have the tables and the chairs and stuff, so people can, like, hang out on the balcony with friends, what have you, maybe have a few drinks, like this balcony here. Some balconies full of plant life like these in here, but there's always that one balcony that has essentially become overflow storage for whoever lives there, with all of the like boxes and things that are tarped over. Like, they still want to hold on to it, but not enough to keep it inside. And they have no other storage space, so out on the balcony it goes. I think that's what I'm going to do with this one here. This one's just going to be storage. And we're going to go to our furniture map assets here. I think this is the one that has the covered tables and chests and stuff. Yeah, look, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's wrapped up here. All wrapped up and ready. Oh, like there's a whole cluster of boxes here. Perfect. We'll throw a cluster of boxes here. We'll throw covered thing over in this corner. We'll do, let's see, some of these boxes over here. Maybe use some of the storage as kind of a what am I thinking here? Like a privacy barrier between balconies. So we can do this and then over, stack those there, and then maybe second slightly lower stack here. And that way you can still look out on the balcony, but it's not, you know, there we go. Excellent. Maybe we put some of these other little storage crates out here. Oh my goodness, those are huge. Okay, so we'll put one up against the wall here. And then another. There we go, that's a smaller one. We can put maybe a couple of those here. Yeah. And then tarpy rolled up thingy kind of on top of these boxes here. And another one that's sort of like rolled up and sort of like leaning on or draped over some boxes and such. Kind of half obscuring things over here. Actually, yeah, let me zoom in a little on this. Get that positioning just right. There we go. Maybe it fell over and it's covering some boxes. Who knows? But that gives it kind of like a little messy look right there. Maybe we drop another box over here. Separate it out a little bit. Yeah. And then maybe we drop another covered crate right here by the door. Lovely. Fantastic little cluttered balcony. That still leaves what to do with the open space here and over here. Let's see. I kind of want to throw some more green in here because we've got all this lush green with little splashes of color up here. I've got like a little bit of green here. A little bit of green here. Maybe we add some more. Maybe... Oh, you know what? Let's go in here. Let's go to our... big leafy friend here. As this neighbor seeing what their neighbor here is doing with their balcony has decided they don't want to look at that. They're just gonna throw some plants in here to kind of cover up all the boxes. Call that the passive-aggressive neighbor. I don't approve of what you're doing, but I'm not going to confront you about it. I'm just going to cover it up. We'll put that under, so we get a little color in here. Yeah. Cool. And that still leaves most of an open balcony to be able to look down into the courtyard. Gives us space for folks to visit. Maybe I throw another chair or two up here for visitors. We can put a chair over here. Maybe a couple in here. Just to kind of off to the side, you know, looking over the balcony, sort of visiting with friends kind of situation. That still leaves some open space for folks to like move about. Yeah. I feel like there should be something else on these two balcony spaces here, but for the life of me, I don't know what else would look good there. I don't know. I like the neighbors to the storage balcony people putting plants over there to block out the storage crates. Absolutely, 100%. Like, that's ugly. I'm gonna cover that up with something beautiful. Like, that's excellent visual storytelling to me. Like, that says so much about these two neighbors here without using any words at all. You see that situation, and if you've been in any sort of living environment with, you know, neighbors that close together, you've seen something similar to that, I'm sure. It's so good. Alright, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else could go in here. We're gonna zoom out a little bit and just kind of take a look at what we've got now. Look at this space. In the span of, what has it been? About 2 hours? We really made an excellent little livable space here. Like, there's so much conveyed from all of these different balconies. Like, you get a different vibe from each one. Like, and even with the ones that are so similar, there's like enough differences that you can tell, oh, this neighbor has a whole bunch of people over, and they were like hanging out on the balcony and just left their empty drinks out here. This guy maybe has some company over, but not as often, not as messy. You know? The difference between like the laundry balconies over here on the right hand side with like one very neatly stacked over on this upper table, and this one just kind of like a pile on that table. I love making maps. And though I feel like I could do a little more with this, I think we're gonna call it there tonight. This was some excellent progress, some fantastic ideas recommended by chat, and it really brought some interesting visual elements to this previously very empty courtyard. I might add in a few more elements, but I think for tonight we're gonna declare this done. So we'll save and we'll transition out, I think, to call it an evening. Thank you so much to everyone who came into chat, offered some suggestions, helped me to make this map what it turned out to be at the end of this evening. And once this map pack is complete, you'll be able to find it in my coffee store. Link down in the doobly-doo description thingy, where you can find this map probably by the end of the weekend, and all of my other maps already up there. Including the map that we worked on last stream, which was the bridge maps, the bridge crossing, which, by the way, also has a free version available to everyone on my shop. It has no bridge, so your players might have to get a little creative to cross it, but nonetheless, I look forward to the stories that come out of that one. And we will stream a new map next time. Until then, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful weekend, as it is a Friday night when I'm recording this, or whatever night it is for you when you watch this. Have an enjoyable evening, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you the next time. Good night, everyone.